Let's continue exploring the universe within art and the art behind Minecraft. I'm your host, Ledoux, and in this episode, we're going to take a look at concrete converters and find out which one is the fastest. There are a ton of different ways to convert concrete. I see a lot of people make these piston-based ones that will convert the concrete and then push it out of the way and make cubes or rows, but it might actually surprise you to learn that the fastest way to convert concrete is actually the simplest way. It requires no redstone at all and is super duper fast at almost twice the speed of any concrete maker that uses pistons. And that's the one we're going to build in this video. Then after we build it, we're going to talk about all of the other different types of concrete makers, the pros and the cons of each design. That way you can make an educated decision when it comes to converting your concrete. But for now, we're going to build the fastest and simplest design. The build area is going to be 8 blocks wide and as long as you want it to be. However, I would recommend building this first platform either 32 blocks or 64 blocks long. That way, when you're placing concrete on top of these blocks, you will be placing it in full stacks, so you won't have any rollover in between placing stacks. But one block away from your platform, we're going to go up by 6 blocks, then we're going to go diagonally up and diagonally out with another block. Then break out the bottom 5 blocks so that you're left with this that is 1 block away from where your platform is. And then we're just going to carry this all the way across. This is going to be a canal for us to place in our water. So it needs to be aligned with the platform that you built down at the bottom. And also, those stairs are not necessary. It's just nice to give you an easy way to get on top of the platform. But then we need a temporary row of blocks so that we're left with a 1 wide hole. And in this 1 wide hole, we're going to place water buckets just so that the water connects to each other. It doesn't really matter, you just want water placed on every single block. That way, when we break out this temporary row, we are left with an even waterfall that will be completely flush with our platform. Now we just need to block the water so it's not flowing all over the place. I would recommend using buttons because they're cheap and allow items to pass through, but if you want to, you can use slabs. And you want to have 2 blocks of water between the buttons or slabs and the platform, like you see here. That way, the bottom water is flowing toward the outside. So as concrete lands in the water, it will flow and get pushed toward the outside and make it easy for you to collect it. But now we just need to build this exact same thing on the other side. So build your floating canal, place in some water so that there's water on top of every block, then break out the temporary blocks so that it creates a flush waterfall with your platform. Then add your buttons or your slabs to trap the water in, and you are now done. It is as easy as that. And this is the fastest way to actually convert concrete powder into regular concrete. So as you place powder on this platform, it will automatically turn into solid concrete because it's touching the water, so we can just run back and forth placing rows. And the reason I recommended building it either 32 or 64 blocks long is so that you don't have to switch what stack you're holding in the middle of a row. You can run all the way across, and you won't run out of a stack until you reach the very end. That will help, save time in the long run so that you don't have to constantly switch stacks in the middle of placement. But when you're done, you just simply mine it all out. And so this maximizes the placement speed and the mining speed of collecting the concrete. And when you're done, you'll have a nice neat little row of extra concrete that has floated off to the sides here for you to pick up. Now ideally, you do want to have a double beacon for mining speed and movement speed. But if you don't have a beacon, that's totally fine. There's actually still a way for you to insta-mine the concrete. Just to demonstrate, if we have efficiency 5 but don't have a mining beacon, mining the concrete will be kind of slow. But we can insta-mine individual rows simply by holding down the mining button before we actually come into contact with the concrete, then running forward and aiming at a single row. This will insta-mine that entire row. Just be sure not to aim at anything else. You can only do this 1 row at a time. Now, even though you can insta-mine individual rows, it's still ideal to work your way up to a mining beacon at the very, very least. You want to have haste 2 with any sort of concrete converter so that you can insta-mine the concrete. But also having faster movement speed will dramatically increase the rates by increasing the speed in which you can place the blocks. However, with piston-based designs, having faster movement speed doesn't affect anything at all. Piston-based designs tend to always be worse. We can break down the efficiency of any concrete converter into 3 different categories. The first one is how fast can you mine the concrete? Now really, the biggest thing for this one is, do you have efficiency 5 and do you have a haste tube beacon? And then we have movement speed and block placement. How fast can you place the blocks inside of the converter? Converters that use running speed, well, you can boost running speed by using a beacon or by using potions, but things like pistons, you can't gain any bonuses to placement at all. And lastly, we have how long does it take to place the water? Now if the water is already there, it doesn't take any time at all to place the water. The concrete automatically gets converted. So we can just get rid of that on any design that already has the water in place. Then for mining speed, as long as you have a haste tube beacon and efficiency 5, really the pattern that it makes, whether you're using cubes or walls, that doesn't really affect the mining speed at all. So we can get rid of that one too. So the most important aspect of any concrete converter is how fast can you place the blocks. And this is why piston-based designs are always inferior, because there's always some sort of limitation to how fast you can place the blocks. Now the mining speed will basically be exactly the same, especially if you have a cube maker or something like that, you will still be able to mine the blocks just as quickly. However, when it comes to placement, even if we build 2 of these next to each other, to try and avoid the delay of the pistons activating, by moving back and forth, we're still limited to spam clicking, rather than quick placing rows. In Bedrock, we can run and quick place rows under our feet, or, wherever we're looking. We don't have to spam click. And the quick placement for rows is twice as fast as any sort of spam clicking. And we can actually test this right now by timing how long it takes me to place a half a stack inside of this piston-based one, and then how long it takes me to place a half a stack while running. And I'll try to do this as fast as I possibly can, but there is a skill factor involved when using this style of converter. You will get a little faster at doing this over time, but it took me 8 seconds to place a half a stack inside of the piston-based design. Whereas if I just hold down the place button and run as fast as I can, it only took me 4 seconds to place a half a stack. That is twice as fast as the piston-based one. Now, of course, if we don't build walls of water and we have to place the water by hand, well, then this will be like the slowest one. It'll take you absolutely forever to actually place in all of that water. So what I normally do if I want to make concrete on the fly, or if I don't have a concrete maker, is I'll make these 2x2 towers. I make them 2x2 and crouch in the center so that you don't fall off or glitch off if you're playing on a laggy realm. And this is highly skill-based. You'll get much faster at this over time. The reason I'm so slow right now is I have my sensitivity turned way down for recording purposes. But then we just have to place 4 buckets of water here at the top, and this is really a similar speed to the piston-based ones. But at least compared to walls, you don't have to place 15 water buckets, you just have to place 4. And the best thing about this design is if you crouch in the center and then just spin in a circle, again, if you have high sensitivity, you just spin, and you just insta-mine the entire tower all the way down. This is a really ideal way to mine it. It's super duper easy to mine. You don't have to aim or do any of that stuff. And that's why originally I was trying to mess with this bubble elevator design, where you could quick place lines going up to make it way easier to harvest them. By using a bubble elevator and quick placing to place the blocks at maximum speed. That way you can just stand on the top of the tower and, scroll in a circle to mine all the way down. This would actually be the fastest way to place and mine the concrete, but I just couldn't get it to work. The bubbles are just a little bit too fast, and you kind of outspeed your ability to place the blocks. And so I'll still play with this design and try to figure out a way, because it would be super ideal. Like, that was actually the reason I made the invisible bubble column as the last episode. If you missed that, be sure to check it out because it's super cool. But I really wanted this to work, because if you could maximize your block placement speed in a 2x2 tower, where you can just stand in the middle and spin to mine it out, that would be the easiest and fastest way to convert concrete. If you still want to make a piston-based design, if you want like a cube maker or something like that attached to it, just let me know and I would be more than happy to get it done. But just know that any sort of design that uses pistons is going to be slower than just doing it by hand, making rows of walls or rows of towers. But that's all we got for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, share, and subscribe. And be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you did or didn't like about this video, or if you have any questions or requests, and I will do my best to help you out. And in the video description is a link to my Discord. You can join that Minecraft community to share pictures of your builds, talk to me about redstone, find players to play with, or really anything Minecraft related that you would like to do. Thank you so much for watching. Always remember that you are totally awesome, and I hope to see you again soon. But until then, I've been your host, Ledoux, sharing a Minecraft trick or two, and reminding you, as always, don't forget to have fun. Bye-bye!